A crocodile from Olduvai Gorge has a scientific name meaning man-eater, not a nickname, a formal published scientific species name. The paleontologist Christopher Brochu gave it that name in 2010 after studying fossils from Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania. And he chose those words for a reason. Among the bones this animal left behind were the bones of your ancestors. Some of them carry the marks of its teeth. You need to understand what that means. 2.3 million years ago, on a lakeshore in East Africa, there was a small upright creature carrying sharp stones. That creature was Homo Habilis. The name means handy man, given by Louis Leakey, Phillip Tobias, and John Napier in the 1960s, because it was one of the first of your relatives found lying beside stone tools. This is the ancestor we like to celebrate, the toolmaker, the clever one, the beginning of you. But the shoreline it walked was not a stage for its triumph. It was a killing ground. And Homo habilis was not always the one doing the killing. Picture the animal we are talking about. Not the crocodiles you know from a documentary. Brochu's man-eater had a deep, high skull and horns of bone flaring back over its eyes. A heavy, blunt-faced reptile built for one thing, which was seizing something at the water's edge and dragging it under. It shared that shore with giant monitor lizards, long-bodied reptiles that patrolled the same mud your ancestors had to cross to drink. To a creature barely more than a meter tall, weighing less than you did in grade school, a 2-meter reptile lying motionless in the reeds was not a scene. It was the last thing many of them ever saw. Why does that matter? Because water was not optional. You cannot skip drinking. In the dry season on that ancient floodplain, the safe water shrank to a few muddy edges, and every animal on the landscape funneled toward the same handful of spots. The gazelle came, the wildebeest came, and your ancestors came out into the open, down the bank, into the exact ambush zone where a patient reptile had waited, sometimes for days. Every sip was a gamble. Every child who needed water was a child led to the edge of the trap. Now here is where most people get the story wrong. For a long time, the picture of early humans was the killer ape. The anatomist Raymond Dart looked at broken hominin skulls from South African caves and decided your ancestors were violent hunters, cracking each other's heads with bone clubs. It was a thrilling idea. It was also wrong. The person who overturned it was a South African scientist named C.K. Brain. He wrote a book with a title that is really a question. Brain took those same broken skulls, the ones Dart read as murder, and looked closer. And in one of them, a hominin skull from the site of Swartkrans, he found 2 clean round holes in the back. Then he did something simple and devastating. He picked up the lower jaw of a fossil leopard and fit its 2 lower canine teeth into those 2 holes. They matched. Your ancestor had not been a hunter holding a weapon. Your ancestor had been carried in a leopard's jaws, hauled up a tree, and eaten over a branch, the skull dropping into the cave below. The killer ape was in truth the prey. And once Brain showed how to read the bones, honestly, the pattern turned up everywhere. Punctures, drag marks, gnaw damage. The story of early humanity, written in tooth marks, is not the story of the hunter. For a very long time, it is the story of the meal. So sit with that. The animal you descend from spent hundreds of thousands of years being ranked on the menu of Africa, somewhere in the middle. Below the leopard, below the hyena, below the man-eating crocodile at the water's edge, and the monitor lizards in the grass. That is the world Homo habilis was handed. Not a throne, a place in the food chain, and not a high one. But if all of that is true, if your ancestors were slow, small, soft, and hunted, then how are you here? That question is the whole story. And the answer is not that they got stronger. They never grew claws. They never grew fangs. They never got faster than the things chasing them. Something stranger happened instead. Look again at those stones. The tools that got Homo habilis its flattering name are called Olduvai tools, sharp flakes knocked off a river cobble named after Olduvai Gorge, where Louis Leakey documented them by the thousands. For years, everyone assumed those flakes were for hunting, a weapon, a hunter's kit. But study the animal bones found beside them, as researchers like Robert Blumenschein did at Olduvai, and a quieter truth appears. The cut marks left by those stone flakes often sit on top of the tooth marks left by big carnivores. On top, which means the lion or the saber-tooth got there first. Your ancestor came second. The stone tool was not the weapon of a proud hunter. It was, for a long time, the survival trick of a scavenger, a way to slice meat off a carcass a bigger predator had already killed, and to crack open the long bones for the marrow inside, the one rich food no toothless, clawless creature could otherwise reach. Feel the tension in that. To eat, your ancestor had to walk toward the kill, toward the lion still standing over it, toward the smell that every hungry thing on the plain could smell too. The tool did not remove the danger. It sharpened the reason to run into it. So what saved you was never a bigger body. It was a bigger problem faced over and over that had to be solved with something other than muscle. Being prey teaches a specific set of skills, and every one of them lives inside your skull right now. When you are hunted, you cannot afford to be alone, so your ancestors bound themselves into tight groups. Many eyes, many alarm calls, the safety that one small body could never buy for itself. When you are hunted, you must read the land like a text, where the reeds are too still, where the birds have gone quiet, which path to the water is death and which is life. When you are hunted, you learn to remember who was taken last time, which season the water shrinks, what that shape in the grass turned out to be. The crocodile did not make your ancestors smart by being defeated. It made them smart by never being defeated, by staying dangerous, generation after generation, until only the ones who could think their way around it were left to have children. The predator was not the obstacle to becoming human. The predator was the pressure that carved it. And this is the twist that should stay with you. The traits we are proudest of, cooperation, planning, memory, the ability to sit still and read a situation before acting, did not come from us conquering the world. They came from us being hunted in it. Your intelligence is not a hunter's trophy. It is a survivor's scar tissue. You can still feel the shape of that ancient shoreline in your own body. That jolt when something moves fast at the edge of your vision, that is a system built on that lakeshore, tuned by 2-meter reptiles still scanning a world that no longer holds them. The dread of being watched. The relief of being back with your group. The way a crowd of people calms you and an empty dark road does not. None of that is weakness. All of it is inheritance. You are the descendant of the ones who were nervous enough at the water's edge to live. And notice what you did with your fear. You did not lose it. You aimed it. The same wiring that once read a still patch of reeds now reads a spreadsheet, a face across a table, a road at night. The same hunger to belong that kept a small body alive in a dangerous group now runs your whole social world. You carry a prey animal's alertness inside a life with almost no predators left, which is why so much of modern anxiety feels too big for its target. It was calibrated for the crocodile. It just never got the message that the crocodile is gone, because it is gone, is extinct. The giant monitors are extinct. The saber-tooths that once fed your scavenging ancestors are extinct. Every apex predator that ranked your family low on the menu 2.3 million years ago is dust in a Tanzanian gorge, catalogued by people with brushes and notebooks. And the small, soft, hunted thing that walked to the water anyway is reading these words. So think again about that name. A crocodile from Olduvai Gorge that a scientist called the man-eater. For 2 million years, that name was the truth of your ancestors' lives. The thing at the edge of the water, the reason to be afraid, the sentence handed down at every dry season shore. It ate your family. It shaped your mind. And then it died, and you did not. The man-eater has a name in a scientific paper. You have every name that came after.